downloading your SDKs or your softwares, whatever you need. Okay. So before discussing the architecture of Appium, yeah, let's discuss the architecture of Appium. So as I told, you will have your language bindings, right? So your language, you can select any language like Java, C#, Python, PHP, Node.js, Perl, whatever the language it is. With that, suppose we are using Java, we are using editor of Eclipse, right? Similarly, if you're using Python, you will have some PyCharm, or if you're using like C#, you will have Visual Studio, or like, so you will have different editors for your different language workings. Here you will write your WebDriver script. Clear? So once your script is ready here, then what exactly happens? You will install. So you don't worry what is Appium server. Is it a big mystery like that? So just think that it is a server, HTTP server, which is running here. Now you will start a Appium server. What this Appium server will do is, so let me take a paint for better understanding. So we know Selenium architecture, right? It's very similar to Selenium here. So okay, so here is your language bindings. Sorry. So this is also called as client. Clear? So what are the languages that you write here? You can write the code in Java, multiple languages, like it goes on here. And C#. Then what is the next step, guys? So next step is you will have your session object with Appium server. So this is your Appium server. Let's make this like this. So this is your Appium server. Guys, this architecture is only for Android. iOS also similar, it looks same, but minor changes will be there. So I don't want to confuse you with all those at a time. We'll discuss on iOS when you are working with iOS. Okay. So this architecture is only for Android. Okay. So you have Appium server, you have language bindings here ready, and you need your UI automator or Android SDK here. So before installing each and every software, if you understand the architecture very clearly, how the Appium is working, then it is a cakewalk for you and to debug the defects or to work with the softwares. So while installing Android SDK, you might think, hey, I already installed Appium server. Why do I need Android SDK? All these UI automator, ADB bridge, and all. So you will have better understanding later. So then you will have your real mobile device or emulator or a simulator here. Okay. Now these are the languages what we have. So everyone are clear with this, right? No queries in language. So we are using Java as programming language. So it is just a code what we write here. It is just a code. Okay. Now Appium server is nothing but a exe file, .exe file. .exe file. When you install this particular exe file here, so when you install this particular exe file in your machine, when you run this exe, you will get a Appium user interface. So there you will get a button called start button. Okay. So when you start this Appium server, it will start listening to the client. As I told, Appium is a client server architecture. The client will send the request here. It will convert the Java code and it will send the request. This request, this Appium server will listen. And what is the job of this Appium server is, in the backend we have installed Android SDK, which contains UI Automator and ADB. Since it is Android, just remember UI Automator. So this is very important, guys. Now the Appium has got a request here. Let's say driver.get only, driver.get, and you are giving the URL name. This request will be coming in like this, in the form of JSON format. URL colon, then what is the URL, like google.com. Okay. So the client is sending this JSON wire protocol to this Appium server. Now this Appium server is getting this JSON response. So what is the actual code that we are writing in Java here for this line of code? So it is driver.getOff, and we are launching the URL google.com. Clear? So when you execute this Java code, this Java code is converted. This Java code is converted into JSON format. In the Selenium also it's the same thing. Even in the Appium, if you see the Selenium architecture here, I would have saved, yeah. If you see the Selenium architecture here, so you have your language bindings here, your WebDriver. This is the code what you are writing in Java. This code is converted with the help of WebDriver SPI into JSON format, right? This JSON by protocol is transferred with HTTP with the help of REST API to Chrome driver. Your Chrome driver is here. This it is sent to your particular browser which is targeted for execution. This is the architecture for Selenium. Now, if you see the Appium architecture, this code is converted into JSON wire protocol and sent to Appium server. Right? The Appium server start listening to the client communication and the client code. What this Appium server job is, take this JSON wire protocol, communicate with UI Automator. Communicate with UI Automator. Tell this UI. So this Appium server will not have direct capability to interact with this mobile device, guys. Just remember this. This Appium driver will not have capability to interact with these mobiles and with these tablets. So what are these mobile devices? These are Android mobile devices. When you say Android mobile device, who will have capability to manage these? Your Android SDK will have capability to manage these Android mobile devices. Agree? Now, your Android SDK is having two components. Just only one component. UI Automator is the culprit which is sending the scripts to mobiles and getting responses from there. But you need Android debug bridge also, just to communicate your mobile device to your system where the Appium is installed. That's why I wrote ADB also. Okay. Now you got a request to launch request in the form of JSON to launch google.com in a Chrome browser. So ADB, I will repeat that, Pallavi. I'm not still in Android SDK. I'll just repeat that. So you just got a google.com here request for Appium server. Now this Appium server will tell this UI Automator, hey, from my client, I got a request to execute or to launch google.com into this particular mobile device. Can you just push this? Now the UI Automator's job is to receive this command from Appium server, and send to communicate to particular mobile device, and get the response from mobile device, send it back to Appium server. So now this Appium server will send back in the form of Java code back if it is not element not found exception, or if the driver is not found exception, you will get exception, or if it is launched, it will start going to executing next line of code. Okay. Now I just repeat this one. So when you get a JSON response, when you get a client response to Appium, now the Appium will ask UI automator. UI automator is nothing but the instance, or it's one of the component in Android SDK. Okay. So UI automator is one of the component in Android SDK. This UI automator job is to execute the scripts which are sent by Appium into particular mobile device, which as per the configuration what we write in the code. In code, before this Java code, we will write some configuration. Hey, I want to execute in this device, in this operating system, in this device screen size, and this is the device serial ID. You just now once you specify all this before execution of the code or driver.get, what it will do is it will just communicate with the ADB. Now the ADB is coming into picture. So when you're providing all these details, I will show you this in the Appium server logs clearly how ADB is coming into picture here. Now when the code is executed, it will check, okay, let's say Nexus 5 is the device what this user is given for execution of this script. Now from Appium server, a request will go to Android debug bridge. Now Android debug bridge will check your system computer USB ports. It will check your USB ports whether any devices are connected or not. Okay. So once this mobile Nexus 5 device is detected successfully with Android SDK, I will show you how to configure this Android debug bridge and check your connected device is the device which you connected to USB is available with Android SDK or not. We'll discuss that in detail. Now this once this ADB says, hey, I have recognized this device, then what is the next task? Next task is executing the code here. So now you have a code like driver.get and launching this URL here. Okay. So once the configuration is success, then you will start executing this code. Then this code again is converted into JSON format here. So now this once it receives the command, the Appium server is receiving the command in the form of REST API here. In HTTP with REST API. Now this Appium server will tell to UI automator, hey UI automator, I have received a request from the client to launch this google.com into this particular mobile device. Even Android debug bridge confirmed that this device is active. Now just go and do this command in this mobile and give me a response. Now that command will be launched in the mobile device here. Okay. Then the UI automator send back what is the response that is obtained after execution of this particular step. Then it will like this, each and every code will be sent in the form of REST API. This is now who is playing important role. The important role is played by Appium server and UI automator, because Appium server is receiving the commands from client. Client is nothing but your code. Just remember that, guys. So it is receiving from your code. Now Appium is telling for UI automator, hey, I have detected. So the client said it is Android device. Now you UI automator, it's your responsibility because you are in Android SDK. Just go and communicate with the mobile device and bring back what is the response that is obtained after executing this particular client code. So this is how the communication happens in Appium from end to end. Clear? So any queries, guys? Any queries? Do I need to repeat it? Okay. Yeah. So ADB is nothing but Android Debug Bridge. So Android Debug Bridge is used to detect your device and communicate with your device. Okay, which is connected with USB cable. So it's not only, see, ADB is not only, I just told ADB for your information. So ADB is not a part of Appium, guys. Appium will internally use, you need to set Android SDK path. After installing your Android SDK, you need to set your path so that the Appium will go to particular folder. It will search for UI Automator and it will search for ADB. Then the devices will be detected. For you, since I have just told in a layman terms, even if a non-IT guy is coming, he need to understand what is the flow it is going. So now when you are installing Android SDK, you will have a better understanding. Okay, ADB is doing this task. That's why we are setting Android SDK home path. We are installing Android SDK for mobile automation. So this is the main idea of the architecture. This is the backend process how Appium is going. If you want to write scripts in Appium, you doesn't need all this one to learn. But I just wanted to make your fundamentals very strong. That's why I am going in detail, guys. Clear in architecture of Appium how it works for Android. Okay. So just let me say for references. So if you see the task, what is next thing? For iOS, we'll discuss it later once we write the Appium code and understand this one better. This is the architecture, guys. As I told, Appium server will be running. So Appium essentially is a server and it is very core. As I told, right, UI Automator and Appium are very important parts here for mobile automation. So it is the communication bridge between client and mobile device, the Appium server. As I told, it's already written in Node.js, and the client is nothing but the code what we write in Java, Ruby, Pythons. How this communication is happening between mobile device and your code. So this is your code, this is Appium. But you know how Appium is communicating again with mobile device. You will have Android SDK, our architecture diagram you're aware, right? So this is how the actual communication will happen. Setting up Appium. So you need to install Android SDK. So I have downloaded Android SDK here. So how do you want me to share? Okay, I will share this in Drive, Pallavi. Is that fine? Okay, sure. So these are the required libraries here. So Android Studio I have downloaded here. So you can download Android Studio from here. Developer.android.com. So just navigate to developer.android.com. So here you can select an Android Studio. Then here download for Android Studio. So you can click on this button. you will get it's around 700 to 800 MB. So this is your setup file. So once you download, just install this one. I hope I haven't installed. Okay, I already installed this Android Studio. So it's like double clicking, installing very normal Windows application, guys, exe application. So install this one. So once you install, you will be getting a folder under users. Just go to C drive, to users. So user is whatever the username it is. Now here go to app data. Suppose if you're not able to view app data, just enable your hidden files. So click on app data, then I think it's in local. Okay, then you have Android, then you have SDK. So this part will be available for you. Okay, after installing Android SDK, this will be automatically available for you. Even I am opening this for the first time in this mission. So this mission is not set for mobile automation. I am setting up from the scratch so that this will bring you the live issues what we are facing, so that it will help you to set up your missions very easily. Okay. Now you need to set up your Android home, right? So to set up your Android home, you need to set till SDK. You need to set the path till local. After Android, you will get SDK. So this is your Android home path. So just copy this path. Go to environment variables. Edit system environment variables. Click it here. So here you can use. I don't have any Android path. Create a new variable. Android underscore home is your variable name, and value is your path to your SDK. Clear? Set this path. Now your Android home is set. So the next thing is go to the path variable. Go to the path variable. So under path variable, we have seen how to set up Java path, right? Similarly, in your SDK folder, so let me close these ones. In your SDK folder, you have different folders here. Let me explain what each folder will do. Okay. So under tools folder, you will have the options to create emulators. Then you have some libraries which are required for you to develop your Android applications. So platform tools folders will have your Android debug bridge application, ADB application. So under SDK, we have platform tools folder, platforms folder, tools folder, okay, and build tools. Now you need to set a path variable till platform tools because you are using your Android debug bridge here. Your Android debug bridge is available under platform tools. So copy this one, copy this path, go to environment variable path variable. So add a new variable value here. Okay. So till platform tools we have added. Similarly, add till tools. So why you are adding till tools and till bin? Till bin you need to add, guys, because in previous versions you are getting all these files in tools folder only. Now they have made as bin and they have kept inside bin. You have your UI automator viewer. So your UI automator viewer is available under tools and bin folder. So copy this path. Okay, copy this path and set into path variable again here. Just save OK. So any queries in setting up environment variables, guys? So before we check whether the variables is set properly or not, any queries here? Install your Android SDK. Once you install your Android SDK, then go to this C drive, go to the users folder, and what is the username of your, suppose if you are logged with your name, okay. So I'm repeating it again, Pallavi, so that you can follow up now. So go to the users folder, just select which user you are logged in, go to the app data. Suppose if you are not able to view the app data, enable your hidden files, okay. Enable your hidden files. You will see 3 folders. Go to the local folder, go to the Android. This is your SDK where it is installed. Your Android SDK is installed here, correct? Now you need to set your Android home. So copy till SDK. This is your Android home. Means your SDK is the root path which will contain different tools inside Android SDK to develop an application, like creating an emulator, build tools, libraries, extras, patchers, platform tools, Android debug bridge, UI automator, UI, so all other tools like fast boot, monitors, like this. Clear? So copy this path, go to the system variables. You know where system variables will be, right? So go to my computer, this PC, system properties, sorry, not system, yeah, I think so. This man, system properties, mean this PC, open settings. So you can just search in the search bar like edit environment variables. Edit the system environment variables. So you can get in system computer properties, guys. So here click on environment variables. Then we know how to set Java path, Maven, everything. So click on new and add your variable name as Android home. Okay. Then your value will be your Android SDK. Your value will be your Android SDK. Just your Android home is set. Now go to the path variable. So here you need to set 2 paths for 2 folders. They are so Android SDK till platform tools you need to set in the path variable, okay, because you have your ADB under platform tools, and till tools you need to set your path variables under till tools or till bins. So just make it till tools so that it will recognize, add it to your path variables here. So I'm just adding till tools as well. So once your platform tools and tools is set, just save this one, okay. Clear? Your Android home is set after installation. Your Android home is set after installation. Now you need to check whether this Android home is properly set or not. So just open command prompt, okay. So type command adb devices. It will show like this list of devices attached. I have not connected any device to USB cable now. I don't have mobile Android mobile right now with me, so I have not connected any devices. So this is suppose if you don't get ADB is not recognized as internal or external command, then your your path is not set properly. If you are getting any response like this, then your path is set. Clear? Type adb devices. This is the command which is used to check list of available devices in the connected with the USB in the machine. Clear? Now if you are getting a response like this, your Android home is set properly. So any queries, guys, in setting up Android Studio? So you are installing Android Studio. So you no need to write or open any code with Android Studio. So all you need, why you want to install this studio is just for the purpose of SDK. You want your Android SDK to be on your machine. So for this SDK you are not doing any development. So you no need to open Android Studio at all. Okay. So just install, keep it in the back way, set the home path. That's all you need to do with Android SDK. No need to open any studio files and all. Now everything will be working with Appium. You no need to worry about Android Studio once this path is set. Clear? All clear, guys? Any queries?